Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Minding Mind podcast, where we live life with ease, connection, and permission to just be. I'm your host, Evelyn LeVasseur, and welcome back to another episode. And I will start by saying that is the last time you're going to hear that introduction because the Minding Mind podcast will no longer be. I'm not ending my business, but I have totally burned it to the ground and started over. And I'm not saying burned it to the ground in a dramatic sense, literally taken everything that I built and destroyed it and rebuilt something more beautiful, better, more aligned, more me than anything I've ever done before. I, for the longest time, chose to work with women in a way that I felt very strongly was right. I helped women be more themselves, learn to accept and love themselves, which I still think is so important. Learn to see that all the things they hated about themselves was taught to them from people outside of them, society, church, parents, social media, magazines, books, movies, like all these things, messaging that we were bombarded with for our whole lives taught us to look outside of ourselves for feelings of acceptance, validation, and love. And I really helped women fall in love with who they really are, feel confident in their bodies, and show up differently for their children. And while I still think that is a beautiful foundation, I think it is not the full picture of what we need as women, as mothers, as people who are here breaking cycles, as women who know that we are here to heal not only ourselves, but to free the generation that follows us. We are here to make sure that our children aren't suffering the same things we suffered through. We're here to make sure that our daughters aren't compromising themselves and silencing their voices and accepting shit that we know we would not want them to accept, but we also know that we accepted. Ways that we silenced ourselves and betrayed ourselves and put our needs last. All the things that made us feel like we didn't deserve better, that we could never get better, that wasn't even available to us. We want that for our kids. We want our daughters to see different. We want our daughters to experience different. And we want our sons to not only see different for women, but be able to provide different by who they are. So the thing that I would say is changing the very most is that I'm no longer going to coach women only on how they feel internally, how to change what they feel about themselves. That's part of it. But what good is changing everything you feel about yourself, changing the way you show up for yourself, changing the way you love yourself, if you're going to just put yourself back in the same environment that made you feel invisible to begin with? What good is it to do all the internal work if you're going to go back to the same environment that makes you feel like you don't matter? That's the work we're doing. The work we're doing is, yes, of course, fall in love with yourself. Of course, love and see yourself. Of course, want different for your children. Be an example for your children. Be the things you want for them. Self-loving, self-accepting, confident, comfortable, self-assured, able to speak your mind, walking in a room and knowing that you matter, that you change the energy, that you're valuable, that you're worthy. All those things you want for your children, you get to be, but also you now get to change the structure of how your house is run, how your life is run, how you set things up to take care of you so that you're not the one who is doing all the housework, managing the kids' schedules, taking care of the laundry, the meal planning, the dishes, the cooking, the cleaning, the birthday parties, the buying all the presents, the wrapping all the presents for both sides of the family. The one who is the household manager, who's also trying to take care of herself, right? You have 35 things on a to-do list, and what you want or need is not even on it. That's not what we're doing. We're rebuilding literally the structure of our home by rebuilding the structure of how we think about our home. So yes, Evelyn in the past totally wanted you to see and love yourself. Evelyn today wants you to have a home and a life that supports the woman that you are, because you do matter and you are valuable and you are important. And that is actually the thing that's going to set your children up to feel the things you want them to feel. If you want your daughter to not be silencing herself, to not give up her whole identity to take care of somebody else, then you have to stop doing that. You have to be the one at home that shows this is a shared space. We have a shared life with shared responsibilities, and I'm not going to be invisible in it anymore. And it's not about confrontation, right? Unlearning so much of those lessons about who has to take care of the house, who has to take care of life, who has to be responsible for holding everybody's mental and emotional lives together. Unlearning that stuff is difficult. Everything that helps us grow and evolve is difficult. But at the end of the day, what we all need to say is, hell yeah, it's difficult, and I'm worth it. Hell yeah, it's difficult, and I matter. I'm going to put the effort in. So I can only teach these things to other people because I've created them in my life. I am able to very comfortably talk about the things that bother me without feeling like a nag. I'm able to safely express all the things that I'm feeling and point out where I learned them to my husband, to my children in real time. Correcting mistakes, guys, like repair. Everything that I teach anyone else comes from a place of embodiment, because I am not just telling you can have all of these things, I live it. I'm still unlearning things myself, also. Let's not get that twisted. But life can be so much better than just constantly trying to heal inside and then going back to a life that makes you feel like you're nobody, right? I checked every box that I was supposed to check to make me feel like I had made it. I went to college, I got my bachelor's, I got my master's, I had a career in education, got married, 2 children, house, car, career, friends, retirement savings, all the things. Check, check, check. And I'm still like, why the fuck? Why the fuck am I so unhappy inside? Why do I feel so disconnected? Why do I feel so much like I keep giving and nobody's pouring back into me? Why do I feel like I bust my ass every day of my life to make sure everybody's taken care of and nobody fucking stops to say, what does Evelyn need? But I have to be honest also and say, I never stopped and said, what does Evelyn need? I never stopped and thought, what would make me happy? Do I even dream anymore? Do I have any dreams? How could I expect other people to show up for me when I wasn't showing up for myself? How could I expect them to care what I was going through mentally and emotionally if I was literally burying everything that I felt under everything I had to do? I don't have time to handle my feelings because I have laundry to do. I don't have time to handle the pain that I'm in because the house needs to get cleaned, dinner needs to get made, and the kids need to get to their activities. Like, I guess there was a part of me that was expecting other people to love me more than I love myself. to see me more than I even tried to see myself, to show up for me in a way that I wouldn't show up for myself. And that's what had to end. The beautiful part is that while I was unlearning these things and discovering these things about myself, I was sharing them in real time with my husband and having very raw, honest conversations. So it's not like I just got up one day and switched up and he had a different wife. It was an evolution of Evelyn, and he got to witness the whole thing and got to learn parts of what he wanted to work on and what he wanted to work through for himself and for our family. So that's the change that we're talking about. The change from existing in your life, managing your life, coping with all the shit that breaks you down in your life, and instead leveling up and saying, I'm creating a life that I feel completely supported in, that I know I matter in, and that's setting my kids up to grow up knowing that they matter too, knowing that they can create a structure in their life that supports them too, knowing that they never have to be invisible just because they have a partner, knowing that they don't have to have a partner that they feel like they have to parent. You get to change things for yourself and at the same time, change every lesson that your kids are learning along the way. And it's not easy. It's not simple. It takes work, but it's possible. The outcome is beautiful. You're worthy of it. And God, the way it releases you and your kids and the freedom that you're given, the comfort, the alignment, the way you wake up in the morning and you don't have 100 things running through your mind. You don't have 100 feelings running through your mind about how shitty it feels to be you, right? To wake up and just feel free and at peace and grateful, not just for the things around you, but grateful for you, right? That's what we're after. So from today forward, you're no longer going to call me Evelyn, the podcast host of the Minding Mind podcast. You're going to refer to me, as I'm going to refer to myself, as Evelyn, the self-centered mom. And I want you to take note of the word self-centered, right? Because people will have you thinking self-centered is selfish, meaning you don't care about anybody else. But self-centered, literally, it has nothing to do with neglecting your family. It has nothing to do with being inconsiderate. It is centering yourself. It is knowing that you have a connection to your own needs. It is knowing that you make yourself a priority on your to-do list. It is you having standards and you having boundaries and you being able to make decisions from a place of how much you love and respect yourself instead of how guilty you feel for not doing something for others. It is saying yes when it's a hell yes and saying no when it's a hell no and not needing to explain yourself. It is knowing I don't want to is reason enough to not do something. It is knowing that I matter, I belong here, I created this is the sense of pride that you're searching for. It is knowing that when I'm taken care of, everybody benefits. The woman that shows up for my family is different. When I'm taken care of, when I'm rested, when I'm loved, when responsibilities are shared, when I'm able to speak on what I'm feeling, when I'm able to sit back and rest and somebody else takes care of something that I normally would have done, I show up different. I'm calm. I'm not snapping over dishes that are on the counter because somebody else fucking picked them up. I'm not snapping over all the work that I have to do because somebody else is also doing it. I'm not carrying the load of our house on my back because we're sharing responsibilities and we're all relaxing a little bit more. We're all relaxing a little more together. And also, I am relaxing on my own because I deserve to, as much as they deserve to. And the truth is, they deserve a mother who feels this good. They always deserved that. And I always deserved that. I just didn't know. I want to talk quickly about, as mothers, it makes me sad to even say it, but as mothers, we're taught and praised to disappear. We're taught that the more we ignore our own needs, the better we're doing. The more exhausted and overwhelmed we feel, the better job we're doing. When you see mothers burnt out and overwhelmed and saying, I can't do this, people will just tell her, yes, you can. You got this. She's literally telling you she doesn't have this. The more that we do that, the more people think we're doing a good job. Because by definition, what we've been taught about a mother is that a mother cares for everyone else first. A mother puts everyone before herself. And that's why we have generations of women who live their entire lives not knowing themselves, not feeling fulfilled, not feeling taken care of, not feeling valued, and then passing that on to other women as if that's the right. And in the meantime, giving birth to and then raising men to perpetuate the same. Men who watch mom go crazy taking care of the house. Men who watch mom give to everyone else and not herself, which means we shape their expectations. We shape how they treat women. We shape what they expect from women. We shape how they show up for women. When we're taken care of, when we're honest about what we're feeling, when we are able to release control and delegate things around the house as well, everybody benefits because the kids also learn about independence and responsibility and cohabitating and what it means to take care of other people and how important it is to take care of yourself. So today, I want to formally invite you to a free webinar I'm holding on July 24th. Remember, I am the self-centered mom. On July 24th, I will be hosting a free training titled Moms Need to Become Self-Centered Immediately. And again, it's not about becoming selfish. It's really a conversation about becoming more whole, about creating a life that you don't want to escape from, about decentering motherhood and marriage, and recognizing that centering yourself is the most beautiful gift you can give to the people that you care about. At this seminar, I will also be introducing our free Facebook group where I'll be going live monthly, holding live Q&As. We're going to have some amazing conversations. You'll have early bird discounts and access to special podcast episodes. And I also will be introducing a special offer at that time as well. But either way, if you join the Facebook community or not, if you join my program or not, the webinar itself is going to be super packed with important context to how we even got here today, how we even got to being the one who runs everything for everyone, who is the constant for everyone and doesn't have anyone constantly showing up for her. How did we get here and what do we do about that? So join me on July 24th. That link will be in the description. And thank you so much for supporting me for the first iteration of this podcast, the Minding Mind podcast, for traveling with me, for commenting, sharing, liking, opening up so many beautiful conversations. And I'm so excited to take you with me on the next part of this journey. So, for the last time, I will say thank you for joining me. And I want you to go live your life on your terms and mind your business. We will catch you in the next episodes, and they will be all about centering yourself. So much love.